I have an update on the Chimera deck. I actually think branded Chimera is a lot better than Horus Chimera. I played this deck to basically get myself out of Platinum quickly. Um, it's actually pretty decent. I kind of really like it better than the Horus variant, and we're going to go over why. Uh, if you don't know what the Chimera cards do, check out my other deck profile over them because we're just going to kind of go through general combos and stuff in this one. Um, so we have 3 Mexi, and then we have 1 Versago the Destroyer. This card's great. It's like an older card, but it's actually really good in this deck. Um, it can be substituted for any one fusion material mentioned by name on the fusion monster card, but the other materials must be correct. But the real winning factor in it is that it's a Dark Fiend, and you can actually use it with Chimera Fusion as a result. So that's kind of crazy. Next, we have 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Edge Chain. We're back to running the Edge engine. I feel like it's just one of the best engines you can do in this. The fact that if this is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can add Fright for Patchwork, and then you can use Patchwork to add another Edge Chain and a Polymerization is just insanity. 2 Fallen of Albaz. Now that we're running some of the Brandon stuff in here, it just makes sense. Plus, this has just been an amazing card to basically be a super poly on wheels and get rid of a lot of problem boards, and you'll see that on the replay. 3 Gazelles. If you normal or special summon it, you can add a level 5 Fiend monster or a Chimera Fusion. And if it goes to the graveyard for a fusion summon, you can add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each of it once per turn. Each of its effects once per turn. This card's actually very, very good, and we'll get into why in the replays. 3 Cornfield Coddle. This card is also very good. If it battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by a battle. That won't come up very often. You can only use each of the following effects of Cornfield Coddle once per turn. So you can discard this and add any monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, which basically means like any of your main Chimera monsters. When your opponent activates a card effect, activates a card or effect that targets cards you control while you control a Chimera, the flying mythical beast, you can banish it from your graveyard or field and negate that effect. And if you do destroy that card, you're going to see that in the replays a lot. You're also going to see Mirror Sword Knight in the replays a lot because this card is probably one of the best cards, if not the best card for the Chimera archetype. That's not the fusion. So if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. That you're not going to have happen too much because most of the time you're just going to play it on board, slam it down, and then use its effect. You can only use each of the following effects of Mirror Sword Knight once per turn. First effect is a quick effect. You contribute it, special summon any monster from your deck that mentions Chimera Fusion except Mirror Sword Knight. You're always going to special summon Big Wing off of it, pretty much. The second effect is when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect while you control Chimera, the mythical flying beast. You can banish it from your graveyard or field and negate that effect. And it's just when a monster your opponent controls activates the effect. So it's just any monster. It's very, very decent. Big Wing. This is amazing for gaining advantage in just getting resources. If it's normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 beast monster and or 1 Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand. So you'll add Gazelle or you'll add Chimera Fusion. One of the techs for this is some people are in King Tiger because you can actually add King Tiger off of this and then add the Chimera Fusion as well. And King Tiger's just a decent anti-meta card because a lot of the normal summons and special summons in this current format have very low attack. But Big Wing's definitely good. His second effect, if it goes to the graveyard for material for a fusion summon, even if you're using it for like material for branded fusion and you send it from the deck or whatever, if it's sent to the graveyard for a fusion summon, period, you can target an illusion monster in graveyard and special summon it. So you can target Mirror Sword Knight and set that up for more fusions, or leave it on board to use the quick effect during your opponent's turn and get another Big Wing Baphomet effect, and even potentially recur this again and put it back on board if you have a set Chimera Fusion because you'll be fusing it. 2 Poly, the 2 Fright for Patchwork we mentioned earlier, 2 triple tactics talent. It's just, you really need it when you're running this deck. People love to negate your crap. 1 branded fusion. I'd run 2 if I could. 3 super poly. You definitely want 3. 2 called by the grave. 3 chimera fusion. 3 infinite impermanence. Chimera fusion, just in case you didn't watch my other chimera video. During the main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or field as material, including a beast or fiend monster. Hello, Versago. That can be counted for my Fallen of Albaz. So basically, I can just like go into Chimera, the King of the Phantom Beast, get the effect that makes my opponent discard a card at the end of the turn, and then go into Mirror Jade with this guy. When I summon Mirror Jade, so many people just scoop. It's like actually hilarious. They're like, wait, what? This deck can play good cards. The other really good effect of this is during your main phase, if this card's in your graveyard and you have Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, on your field or in your grave, you can activate one of these effects. We never use the second effect. The first effect is you can add this card to your hand, so you can fuse twice off 1 copy, or you can fuse once and then set it to use it during your opponent's turn to go into things to disrupt your opponent. So it's just decent in general. The second effect, which we'll never use because we're not running them, is you can banish it and special summon a Gazelle, Mythical King of Beasts, and 1 Baphomet from your deck or graveyard. You're just not going to use those. You can only use this effect of Chimera Fusion once per turn. But the recursion you'll definitely be using. So on the extra deck, we got Mud Dragon and Swamp for the Super Poly shenanigans. We got Garara for the Super Poly shenanigans. We got 2 Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast. This card is amazing. Its name becomes Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, while in the field or in the graveyard. And that part of the effect for the name change is the same for the Baphomet in your extra deck, and the same for the Illusion Beast in your extra deck. They all have that. It becomes Flying Mythical Beast while in the field or in the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects: Chimera, the King of the Phantom Beast, once per turn. If it's fusion summoned, you can activate this effect. Send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard during the end phase. One of the things I like to do with this, we'll see in the replays, is if my opponent's already activated a hand trap or whatever, and they already have like 4 cards, I'll use the effect, and I'll also use the Talents effect, and I'll leave them with 3 cards to start with, and my opponent will be kind of hindered by that. It's really useful. If this card is fusion summoned, yeah, we went over that. So during your opponent's turn, any point in your opponent's turn, even during the end phase, draw phase, standby phase, whatever, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. This is just absolutely wonderful. The effect is crazy good. 1 Baphomet, the Mythical King of Phantom Beast. It's 2 monsters with different types, Beast, Fiend, or Illusion. It has the name effect. So when it's fusion summoned, you can send a Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster from your deck to your graveyard, which is decent. You can basically send stuff you don't want to draw, or you can send stuff that you might want to special summon off of Baphomet's effect, or just, whatever you need to at the time. And then the second effect is during your opponent's turn, it has that banish effect from the graveyard where you can banish it, target 1 of your banished Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monsters except him, and special summon it. So you can basically special summon him, and then when he goes, you can banish him and special summon something else. I've done that a couple times to keep my opponent from doing lethal. 1 Starving Venom, just for the Albaz and the Super Poly. 1 Predaplant, Dragosteopella, for the Albaz or the Super Poly. You can even go into it if you want to, if you need to, with Chimera Fusion. 1 Albion, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Lubellion, 1 Rindbrum, 1 Chimera the Illusion Beast. This guy is good because he can attack monsters a number of times on the battle phase used for the materials for him. And why he's really good is if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. And at the end of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can change that opponent's monster attack to 0 and negate its effects. So now they have a 0 attack on board. If you put like 4 cards into this, you can just be like attack once, damage, and then just keep attacking for game because it's 0 attack and it can't be destroyed. So this card's really good for OTKs and just to get rid of problematic effect monsters on your opponent's board. One Magnum the Reliever. This card is awesome. It's one monster special summon from the extra deck and one monster in your hand. You can target one Polymerization spell or Fusion spell in your graveyard, place that target on the bottom of your deck, and then draw one card. So you can put this back, you can put this back, you can put this back. Like, it's just really decent. And then the second effect is when another card or effect is activated, you can banish one Polymerization spell or Fusion spell from your graveyard, target one card in the field, and destroy it. You can only use each effect of Magnum the Reliever once per turn. It's just a very decent card. And then, of course, 2 Guardian Chimera. Some people run 3. I like 2. I could see you running 3 if you just really rely on the popping all the time. But between this and Magnum, I think I'm good. 3 monsters with different names. Has to be fusion summoned using only fusion materials from your hand and field, with at least 1 monster from each. If it's fusion summoned by spell card or effect, you can draw cards equal to the number of cards used as material from your hand. And if you do, destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of cards used for material. You can only use this effect of Guardian Chimera once per turn. If you have Polymerization in your graveyard, your opponent can't target this with card effects. That's just like the icing on the cake. And yeah, that is the updated Chimera deck list for branded Chimera. It has been very good. I'm going to show you a bunch of Platinum replays. This is just me just doing Chimera shenanigans. The deck is just... you have so many options. I really like it. Zoe Mirror Sword Knight. They try to ash us. We're obviously going to stop that. We're going to go into the Berfmat. Berfmat gets us our Gazelle, gets us our Chimera Fusion. Our Chimera Fusion, we're not going to bother with yet, because the first thing I wanted to do was take a look at their hand, see if they had anything that could stop what I was going to do. I put the Diabellstar back, because I don't want it to get discarded off of the Chimera effect, because then they just get free stuff. So we're just doing things. We know what our opponent has. They're going to have to start with 3 cards in hand. And they're pretty much screwed at this point, because if they did try to set anything up, I'm just going to negate monster effects with the Mirror Sword Knight, get more advantage with the Berfmat, and I have a fusion to spot remove whatever I need to. So they were just not in a very good spot. That Snake Eyes player did not know what hit them. So we're going second, and that's fine. We have max C, so you know. And now we realize our opponent's not going to special, and we're like, oh, okay, whatever. It's Dynamorphia. I never have problems with this deck, so I wasn't scared, like, at all. Except for, sure, whatever, buddy. We're going to immediately max C. Like, you want to give me cards, whatever. So, and right off the bat, I'm going to be like, oh, that's Zark? No, we're not doing it. Give me Dragostapelia. They're going to do more things. I'm just like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Whatever, buddy. No cards on field. I'm just going to go and Imperm you. You're going to stop the Imperm. Fine, I'll Imperm again. I'll just play the Albaz, and yeah, you're screwed. Enjoy. I did half damage, which was hilarious. Top decking the branded fusion was good, though. My opponent's gonna try to do stuff. I'm just gonna call by and be like, yeah, you're screwed, buddy. You want to set a counter trap? Sure. I just won't do anything besides attack you for game. It's like, oh, you take no damage. Okay. Cool. Still don't get the effect because called by. But now they don't have anything on board, so I was just going to set up, and I'm like, if you can draw something next turn, that's not going to matter. I don't know why people are playing Dynamorphia on the ladder. It's just, the deck is not good in my opinion. So we're going first, and we got going second hand. And then we realize it's Rescue Ace, and I'm just like, oh no. But they're both fire monsters, so we'll just boop them away. And I guess I didn't have an answer for that because they just let us have it. But it's like, oh, you have Super Poly or you have Albaz, you can just do things to your opponent's field. Just the solution for this deck is fuse everything away. If you don't fuse everything away, you can just destroy things with Magnum or Guardian Chimera, or run things over with just your big monsters, or negate things with your giant Chimera monster. So this hand was horrible. Don't know why I discarded the Ash. That was a bit silly of me, but whatever. I really don't want them to get that rank 5. It's just not going to happen. And I'm also going to like drawing cards and doing stuff, so they lost. I like how their name's the Chaz, though. Respect. I'm not going to show you the last one just because that's plenty of replays already. And yeah, if you guys like this, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And I hope you enjoyed the update. Bye-bye.